Welcome to COPchurch. I'm Chaplain Johnson. When there is natural disaster, law enforcement's called upon to do the impossible. Survivors are wanting their missing loved ones found alive and healthy. Victims want their lives back to normal. The general public wants the event to just go away. When these things aren't possible, there's a variety of emotion, frustration, anger, outburst, a lot of things that you're going to have to deal with. And because of our human nature, to find some sort of satisfaction and comfort, we look for reasons that the event happened. If someone made a mistake, certainly they're looking for somebody to blame. More times than not, in a natural disaster, God gets the blame for the destruction, the loss of life. And because God's not available for comment, you, the law enforcement officer on the scene, you may get to field the question, hey, why did God let those kids die? Or why did God let the tornado hit the school? I remember the elective at the police academy on storm spotters, but I'm pretty sure it did not include answering theological questions during the rescue recovery from people who were scared out of their mind and frustrated out of their wits, won't know why God did this. They didn't cover that. So here's a little help from the chaplain that might come in handy some unexpected day. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 17, it says, "And to Adam he said, because you have listened and given heed to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, the ground is under a curse because of you. In sorrow and toil shall you eat of the fruits of it all the days of your life." The part that's important to you in chapter 3 of Genesis in verse 17 is the part that says, the ground is under a curse because of you. And it's not just the ground, it's the entire planet. Okay? Paul goes on, expounds on it in the New Testament in Romans chapter 8 and verse 19 through 21. "For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of him who subjected it in hope. Because the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay, and obtain the glorious liberty of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning in travail together until now." The important part in that verse is where it says creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay. Here's where we are. This world is in bondage. This planet, nature itself, is in bondage. Today we encounter natural disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanoes, earthquakes, etc. because of what happened in Genesis 3. Because the ground is under a curse because Adam chose to disobey. All right? So when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, the consequence was separation from God. Disaster is just an object lesson and a taste of what it means to be separated from a just, a holy, a righteous, loving, and protective God. In that separation of Genesis 3, several curses came about, and one of those being the earth, cursed and put into a state of decay. And that decay is irreversible and indiscriminate. You see, a tornado is likely to hit an elementary school full of children as much as it is to hit an empty pasture full of soybeans. Whose fault is it? It's not God's. It's a man named Adam and a lady named Eve. They were our ancestors. We're their descendants. They made a choice to disobey a loving and protective God with whom they had a personal relationship. The good news is that according to Romans 8, the Lord is one day going to set the creation free from its bondage of decay. We're not going to have any more tsunamis and hurricanes and tornadoes and wildfires and all that. But that gets into the message of salvation, because we too, as human beings, can be set free from the curse of sin by accepting the blood sacrifice of Jesus for the remission of our sin and wrongdoing, and that's what separates us from God. So ultimate natural disaster, that's actually a place called hell, because that's a place where our spirit, our soul is eternally separated from God. So when someone says, God did this disaster, the proper response is, no, we did it to ourselves. Thanks for watching COPchurch.